Hello, good morning, and welcome. So I was hanging on to hear from Kat's eldest about the GCSE results. I was like, no, I'll start the show once we. It's like I've got to start the show now, and we got it, and she's done very, very well. She got a 9 in geography, which is the equivalent of an A star, so in old money. So really excited about that. So yeah, sorry about the delay getting started there. As I've said, all this month it's going to be disrupted. I'm really sorry for making you hang on. Please hit the bell notification icon. Give you some idea when I'm planning to start. But events, dear boy, events, and all that jazz. Hello and welcome to Morning Brew on Hughes the World. I'm Graham Hughes. This is the world. Oh, where's me badger's gone? Just wait there a sec. Yo, Brock. Very sad. Not having me badger. Need me badger. Who moves me badger? Someone moved me badger. Really, really good results. So I'm really, really chuffed. Really chuffed. No, not my results. Yes, I'm too old. Yes, Harry, I'm too old to do GCSEs. Although I don't actually have a GCSE in geography, I have no qualifications in geography whatsoever. I can draw you a map of the world from memory, but no qualifications in geography. I can name every capital city in the world, but no qualification in geography. I can give you a little rundown of the history of every single country in the world and the human geography of it all, but no qualifications in geography. It's all School of Hard Knocks at the University of Life when it comes to geography. Good morning, everyone. How are we doing today? I'm feeling pretty mert as usual, but that's nothing new for me. Oh, leap shin. Okay, well, listen, we're gonna reach out through the internet and give you a hug and say, listen, it's going to be all right. And also good news. I know Gallifreyan was like, I don't care about the Royals, but I don't really give a shit about the Royals either. The point is that I was making with the thumbnail and what I wrote. Like, this is going to just make a lot of gammon like shit their own livers out in like disgust. Which, all things considered, I'm fine. If that's what you want to obsess over in life, other people and what they're doing and where they live and all this kind of stuff, then yeah. I'm ace at geography me, can't do capital cities though. Woke up on the wrong side of the bed, so just be listening today. Hidden Night, okay, hugs going to the Hidden Night as well, and to Gallifreyan men, and to anyone else out there who's not feeling 100% today. Listen, we talk about the stuff that's going on in the world, but the reality is, most people are all right. Most people are all right. Just there's one or two gobshites who are just huge gobshites. Imagine like we have a few superheroes, right, or supervillains, I should say. So a few people who have like powers that can do horrible things and have that ability. But the vast majority of us don't have superpowers, and we're just getting on with our lives, But yeah, it has started raining, which, usually you'd go, God, it's raining in August, how miserable. But it's welcome. It's welcome right now, which is really good. I lost interest in geography when my teacher, instead of telling me about places all over the world, had us calculating Brazil's GDP. Well, yeah, the population density of Mumbai and or Bombay, as it was at the time, actually, and versus Australia and Oxbow Lakes. Oxbow Lakes. But I will say, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, as someone who's got A levels in politics and history and a degree in politics and modern history from Manchester, you can't understand politics, you can't understand history unless you understand geography. It's at the root of everything. Not of all evil, just at the root of all human events have been shaped by history. And I think I was done a great disservice in 1993 when I started my GCSEs because the major government decided for some bizarre reason that we couldn't do history and geography. We had to pick one or the other. Back to Oxbow Lakes and population stuff. Longshore Drive, everyone. There's like a Longshore Drift. Longshore Drift, Fat Spicer. Oh, goes back to the class. Longshore Drift, Jesus. That's a blast from the past. Anyway, so Badger went walkabout, yeah. Brock's back now, you'll be glad to know. He's back. Or she's back, I don't mind. Everything is geography, e.g. geomatics, biogeography, historical geography, chemistry, geophysics, etc., etc. The only decent geography is physical geography. The most interesting thing that I've seen about, I don't know if this counts as geography or whatever, but you just made me think of it when you talk about geochemistry. Like, the rarest substance in the universe is probably wood. If aliens come, they're not going to take our gold. They're not going to take our diamonds. They're not going to give a shit about that. There's loads of that in the universe. There's entire moons. There's entire gas giants whose core is made of diamonds. The diamonds are 10 a penny. Like, diamonds, just crystal. They just form whatever. It's carbon, whatever. Wood, though, wood. That's a substance. That is a thing. You know. The new Mersey ferry just sailed past. Oh, that's fantastic, Martin Harrow. That's quite exciting, isn't it? Ferry across the Mersey. They replaced the Royal Daffodil, didn't they? Didn't they? The Royal Daffodil, the old one, is now moored up by the Albert Dock in Liverpool, right? And I went there for a drink a few months ago with a mate of mine, and I realised that they've actually had to cover up the word royal on the back because they can't claim it to be royal. Like, that's a specific naval thing that if you're the royal thing, the royal ark, royal tenor bombs, the royal whatever. Yeah, so because someone else bought it and turned it into a floating bar, they have to put a bit of. It's really badly done, actually. There's just like painted over the word royal, but you can still see it like embossed everywhere. So it's just called the daffodil now. But there you go. I chose history. Many of us are shame now choose it over geography because the geography teacher was English. Because the geography teacher was English. Oh, because you're in Wales or something, aren't you, Mr. Tisk? The only royal when they're in service. They're only royal when they're in service. Ah, there you go. See, Martin Harrow knows. Martin Harrow knows. I think Oxford and Cambridge have merged into a single urban combination called Oxbridge that supplies our fabulous elite establishment leaders. Why, though? Well, I mean, they are the ancients. The only two universities that date back beyond the 19th century. So yeah, I mean, Durham's the third oldest in England, but Durham was only started in like what the 1820s or 30s or something, just before you missed. So Manchester University now like to claim that they were made in the 1830s. They weren't. It was UMIS, but they've joined up with UMIS, and UMIS was just a drinking pit. It was just some people met up to have a drink in a pub, and they went, "Let's call this a university, a new university." But St Andrews is pretty old, up in Scotland. That could be an ancient. But yeah, Oxford and Cambridge, both of them are nearly, 800, 900 years old now. I think they argue about who's got the oldest college, right? I think he's long past cooked, L. Are you talking about me? What? Am I cooked? Hey, listen, talking about Harry and Meghan for a moment. Sorry, Ren, but this is just to say, right, they're moving back after 6 years of living in the US. This was a scoop for the tabloids yesterday. They're expected to return with Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet, who are both expected to start school in Britain in September. And a source close to the couple confirmed the reports to Reuters, but neither Buckingham Palace nor Harry's spokesman has formally announced the move. They're not returning to work as working royals. They're not expecting to live in a royal residence. And they stepped back from royal senior duties in March 2020. Do you remember 2020? What a crazy year that was. Yeah, their home in Montecito was bought in 2020 for reported 14.7 million. So they sell that, and they'll have some choice of where they're going to move here, I guess. Apparently, Harry met King Charlie Sausage Fingers last month, and but apparently relations between Harry and Prince William are still reported to be strained. Squinting slightly and looking between the lines, reading between the lines, I think that there's been a massive fallout. Not with Prince William necessarily, but Princess Catherine. I think she said something that's come across as a little bit racist, and it's really, really upset the Sussexes. I think that's where this all stems from. But also the fact that the newspapers went after them. But now they're coming back, and I guess Harry and Meghan are like, okay, bring it on. Bring it on, you nutters. And I think this is worth pulling into the orbit of the story, the dreadful story of Jason Arday. Because as I said at the time, this is what they what happened to Jason Arday is what the tabloids wanted to happen to Meghan. They wanted to drive her to that. And she got out, thank God, right? But I want you to remember something, right? Meghan did nothing wrong. Meghan didn't embellish her CV or wasn't accused of making stuff up, whatever, right? Whatever it was that Jason Arday was accused of, plagiarism, right? She was never accused of anything actually substantial. Look at those headlines from 7-8 years ago. And it's all, oh, she ate an avocado. Oh, she had this flower in her bouquet when she got married. Oh, she did this. Oh, she did that. Oh, she did the other. And it was never anything that she actually, she never crossed the line. And this is why we have a two-tier system in this country. And it's not for the likes of Nigel Farage to say, here's a two-tier system because they're investigating my crimes. No. If you're rich and you're white, or rich, just rich, but generally, if you're white and you're privately educated and you don't have ideas above your station, like an actress becoming a princess, how very dare she? Don't forget, one of the reasons why Princess Catherine never got all this kind of shit that Meghan got, it's nothing to do with that. Obviously, it's to do with skin color, but it's also to do with the fact that Meghan came from quite humble background. She didn't go to private school. She made her own way. She was a millionaire before she met Harry, and people hate that. People hate that. She's a success story. She is a real success story. Whereas Princess Catherine went to private school. But yeah, so I want to make that point of look at what they did to Meghan, and that's what happens to you if you're black and have ideas above your station and you do nothing wrong. And I don't really care what Jason Arday did. He did not deserve to be hounded like that by the press. It was ridiculous. It was so over the top and cruel and sadistic. And this is what comes of this media pile-on. And you think they weren't celebrating on Friday when that news came through? They fucking were, the sick bastards. They're sick, There's people. They're just awful, awful, awful people. Look at what Julia Hartless-Brewer was writing. Just disgraceful, absolutely disgraceful stuff. Victim blaming on another level. So I'm going to say best of luck to Harry and Meghan. I hope they have a nice, happy life here in the UK. And the couple are expected to retain property outside the UK rather than make this an absolute break from their life abroad. But I mean, they're welcome to do that. Got the money, and I think that Meghan and Harry do a lot of good. And that's a bit twee, but they're not working royals anymore. They're not making any money from the Duchy of Cornwall or the Duchy of Lancaster. They're not going around opening things for the royal firm. And, they got out. They got out. And wherever you feel about the royal family itself, whether you love them or hate them or somewhere in between or just don't think about them very much, these are two human beings, who when it came down to it, Harry wanted to protect the woman he loved and they got out of the country, quite rightly. When the media frenzy was just insane and it was affecting the mental health of Meghan, giving her very, very dark thoughts while she was pregnant with her first kid. And yeah, I can see why, they'd want to get out. And I can also see why they want to come back. The same with me. I've spent a lot of time in Australia and Sri Lanka and Panama and all kinds of crazy places, but I always come back, it's my home. It's my home. But will they be getting benefits, says Mr. Tis? I don't think so. Some say Oxbridge reinforces the elite establishment structure. They provide the layer of leaders the right-wing ollies impose on us. Well, one of the things about Oxford and Cambridge is they have, first of all, the collegiate system. So in first year, you all sleep in the same dorms as where you learn. So it's all a bit private. It's all a bit boarding school. And they have the junior common room and the senior common room. So the junior common room is for the undergrads. And it's all a bit private school. And then some of them, they go to private school, right? Then they go to Oxford or Cambridge. And then they go into politics. And the way Parliament is run is a lot like boarding school. They have the same terms. They have the Michaelmas term. They have the Christmas term, whatever the fuck it's called, the Easter term, and they have a bell that tells them that they've got to go and do that thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're like, oh. And these are kids who have been in prep school since the age of 8, and they hear a bell and like, okay, I've got to go and do something now. I've got to go get me lunch or vote on something. And they never really experience what I would call the real world. And I know that there's a lot of people online, terminally online people who think that we don't live in the real world, but we fucking do. You know, we're up against it, most of us. Like, you know, we see what's going on in the world. Whereas these people, they live in a gilded bubble. They live in a gilded bubble. And then when someone like Meghan comes along, you know, from outside the bubble, they freak the fuck out, don't they? They freak the fuck out. And they don't give her an inch. And let's just say, you know, what they did to Meghan is what they do to someone who's done nothing wrong. But except for the crime of being not entirely white. Because don't forget, she's mixed race. Just like Obama is mixed race. You know? But yeah, as soon as Obama started running for president, he wasn't mixed race anymore. He was black. It's funny that, isn't it? Okay, so I'm gonna just set up the confetti goal. You've got me for an hour today, if that's all right. I've got to go out at 11 o'clock and do some stuff. So that's cool. I've got to go. I think I've got to go and buy my stepdaughter a present for doing so well. Bloody hell. Amazing stuff. Summed up by the likes of Johnson and Cameron for me posh blokes. Yep. The only concern is given the fact Harry lost a court case against the Daily Mail, it will embolden the press to go harder and harder as they will feel they are untouchable. I don't know, Chris, because they haven't won all the cases. You know, when Meghan took the Daily Mail to court a few years ago for publishing that letter from her dad, she won. You know, that they have had some wins against the press, so I don't know. I don't know. We need Diz Feffy, says you're ineffective enough. Thank you. Thank you very much for the £2 super chat there. You're ineffective enough. It's very kind of you. Just listen to the trawl. Talked about our day, all the articles, dark money, suicide rates, all the journalists, all gender critical. I didn't say trans once. That took some doing. That is a connection. Black ... That more people need to be making is that everyone who went after our day, on the left and the right, are also massive fucking TERFs. Also massive fucking trans exclusionary radical fascists. The overlap there is extraordinary. And I think it's just that, you know, some people, they just can't. Congratulations to your stepdaughter. Thanks very much, Francis Winrow. That's a £2 super chat. I'll put that towards the gift that I obviously need to get her now. And Viper Scott, thank you very much for the £2 super chat. She's quite into her music, so I've got like a record player, like a proper like retro record player with a CD player, and you can play MP3s on it, and you can also use Bluetooth to play stuff on it as well. So it's just like a complete. I didn't have a cassette deck. That's the only thing it didn't have. But you play CDs on it, you play records. She had these CDs and records, you know, like these artists that she likes, but she didn't have any way to play them. So there's the problem is there's no good record shop in Durham. If I want to get her a 12-inch single or something, I need to go to bloody HMV in Newcastle, don't I? Unless I buy it online, which I don't really want to do. I love going into old record shops, or even just new record, like going into Rough Trade or going into HMV. It's just a blast from the past. I like physical media because, you know, when that big solar storm hits. And it knocks out all of the internet and all the extras, and all we've got left is CDs to play, or records to play, which do not require a connection to the internet. Colin Baker, thank you very much for the £2 super chat. Add my name to this Fetty petition. And Drainey, thank you very much for the £2 super chat, which means that we actually achieved the goal well ahead of time. That's absolutely amazing. Thank you, everyone, for doing that. We got confetti. Confetti! Thank you, Drainey. Thank you, everyone. to put that in there. Confetti for your stepdaughter, Graham. Oh, thank you so much, Viper Scott. That is really, really kind of you. We'll have some. Should we have some? Oh my God, look at this. Wingate has a record shop, says Francis Winrow. Thank you very much to Viper Scott there for the super chat. Thank you very much to Francis Winrow as well for the £2 super chat. That's very kind of you. We're heading towards another confetti here, aren't we? Let me just. I wish I could change the goal. So instead of being 5 super chats, it could be 3 or something, because we've got 2. But if you get 3 more super chats, then I'll do the confetti again. Thank you very much. I think Concert has a big secondhand record shop. That might be worth checking out. Actually, do you know what, Billy? Do you know where I can go? Thinking about it, there's a record shop in the market in Durham, in the marketplace. Yeah. Which I quite like. I quite like the marketplace. I think it's quite cool. But yeah, I'll go there. I'll go there and get us some stuff. I saw someone complaining on the internet that these artists, like Olivia Rodrigo and Sabrina Carpenter and Gracie Abrams and Taylor Swift, so they all do like different versions of the songs, and you can get them on vinyl, and you can only get this particular version of this particular song if you buy this particular CD or you buy this particular record. And I'm just like, that's what we've always done. What are you on about? When I was young, right, a song will come out, right, and it'll get to number 1. And it wasn't because that many people bought it. It's because half that many people bought it, right? It's just that they bought 2 CDs. Remember CD1 and CD2? Yeah, remember that? And CD1 had the decent B-sides on. CD2 would have a couple of cover versions or some live tracks from a gig, badly recorded. But you bought them anyway, didn't you? Because you wanted your team, your band, your artist to go to number 1. Like, what the... You don't have to buy them all, not fucking Pokemon. It's fine. It's okay. You don't need to have every single variation of Taylor Swift's albums. It's okay. But if there is one and it's got a extra song on that you particularly like, fine. I'm glad people are buying physical media. And if you want to give people reasons to buy physical media, great. I really believe, and I was talking to my mate Mark from Ash the other day about this, is the album charts need to get rid of the downloads. It makes no sense. We have someone at number 1 in the singles charts for 6 months, and then someone like some old song like Fairy Tale in New York or like Living on a Prayer, whatever it's called, it goes to number 1 again. And you're like, why is this number 1 again? And it should be physical media. That's it. No more downloads. You've got to go to a record shop and make it so you can't buy it on the internet as well. You've got to go to a record shop and actually give money to a person behind the till. And that counts towards the album charts and the single charts. Who's with me on this? Come on. And also, I'm going to have no singles and no albums in the album charts or the single charts that are more than a year old. That'll shake things up a bit, eh? The charts right now are meaningless, absolutely meaningless. Barras Market sells lots of record stores, cheap bootlegs. Ooh. I stayed in, thanks Simon. Townsend says, I stayed in Cambridge University Hall some years ago when I was working in Cambridge. It was an eye-opener. Grimfang 999. Some people like collecting. Remember, there are Pokemon cards that go for literal thousands. There's some that have gone for millions. But fun fact: boyo is an Irish expression never used in Wales, except ironically, how boyo became wrongly associated with Wales is a mystery. It's a mystery. I think it was probably Dawn French doing her impression of Catherine Zeta-Jones. I think that's where it started. I might be wrong. Paul Hardcastle stayed number 1 with 19 for as long as he did because he kept remixing the track. Yeah, I mean, it's nothing new. And people like collecting. People like getting, different versions of the same thing. It's fine. There's so little these days. What you buy as a present, I'm glad there's different variations of stuff because I know I can get like an album or something or a single as a present for someone and they won't have it. What can you buy? These days, everything's on Kindle, everything's downloadable, everything's, there's nothing physical you can give people anymore. So, stuff like that. I like it. I also like experience presents as well. When someone buys you a escape room or Go Ape or something like that. I love that shit. But experience presents are the best. And the Daily Mail are losing what brain cells they have over the fact the Home Office has produced a booklet for asylum seekers that explains the consequences of sexual behaviour. Yeah. The ministers have been forced to tell asylum seekers don't rape women. I mean, do you know what? That message should really go out to all men in this country, young men, boys, teenagers. It will be useful. Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I call Music 3, includes a unique mix of two tribes by Frankie Goes to Hollywood, and there are always plenty of versions of that. Yeah, yeah. I don't understand how the Weeks at Number One record was recently broken, and yet I'd not heard the song. Yeah, Jeff, true. That's what we were talking about. That's what we were talking about. We were saying it's ridiculous. You know, if a song spent like half a year at number one back in 1992, I mean, you would have heard it because it would have sounded like "I'll Do Anything for You" or whatever it was by Bryan Adams, or it would have been like "Love Is All Around" by Wet Wet Wet. Both movie tie-in songs, which we don't have anymore. I think that Will Smith killed that with the Wild Wild West. Have we had a movie tie-in song since Wild Wild West? Where they explain the plot of the movie in the song? Hey! Brain cells, incels, surely not in the same sentence. True. Might go back to Dylan Thomas, who had a character called No Good Boyo in Under Milk Wood. There you go. See, foot and shucks on it. Personally, I think that booklet should be provided to certain male gammons, or even better, to teenagers who are leaving school and college. Yeah, Chris, I agree. But no, I mean, give it to everyone. Give it to everyone. You know, give it to all well, boys, men, because some men don't really get this. They don't understand it. They think women owe them something. I saw a thing the other day about how women are most likely to initiate divorce. I'm like, yeah, and what do you want? Who's more likely to behave beastly in a marriage, the man or the woman? The man. And men are more likely to just walk off, just disappear, just fuck off with somebody else and disappear to Marbella or somewhere. You know, that's what men do. Like, occasionally, not all men. Hashtag not all men. But you know that and then in order to get free of this man that they're married to, you know, for tax reasons, and so they can get with somebody else, marry someone else, the woman has to initiate the divorce. But to an incel, like, 80% of all marriage divorces are instigated by the woman. I'm like, yeah, sounds about right. It's not higher than that. Apparently it goes up the more educated the woman is. Yeah, that sounds about right. Not going to put up with this shit. 50 Shades of Grey starting with a Bond-style theme. However, I do take issue to the booklet saying that the UK men and women are equal. Trans community and the fact women in general will beg to differ, says Chris C. Well, I never got to grips with car stereo since digital stuff came in about 30 plus years ago. I thought it would be a sweet favor. Do you know why? Android Auto. That's two words to drive chill into anyone. I've said this before. You know, the most tragic story ever written, and Hemingway wrote it in six words. Famously, he wrote a 6-word tragic story, which was "For Sale, Baby Shoes Never Worn." And I'm like, no, I can do it in 2 words, mate. 2 words. Android Auto. You get into your car now, and even if your Bluetooth is off on your phone, it will turn itself on. The Bluetooth will turn itself on and connect to the car. No, I don't want that. Don't connect. Unless I say you can connect, you cannot connect now. Overruled. Not all men, but enough men that it makes a problem for everyone by killing trusted men as a whole. Yeah. It's potentially all men. Kevin Light, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. Hannah Spencer was at the Palestinian Circus here in Edinburgh. It's very good. Collections for map afterwards. Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you very much for the £5 super chat. We quite like Hannah Spencer on this channel. Android Auto works fine on my motorbike. Yeah, but I don't want it to connect. Sometimes I don't want it to connect. I don't want it to connect. Just don't. I end up having to turn my fucking phone off, which is, you know, not great. You know, what did the government want to send me a fucking text alert to remind me not to have a barbecue? Maybe we should crowdfund a booklet for the general population about the consequences of behaviour. Thoughts, everyone? Yeah. But at the same time, you know, crime rates are down. Murder rates are down. Violent assault is down. So, yeah, I do feel like people are getting the message. It's just that the ones who aren't. And I'd say this a million times, like, you know, I get 100 nice messages on it, and you know, it's great. But I get one bad, horrible message, and it stays with me. One message calling me a fucking gobshite or something, it really stays with me, you know? Sorry, Martin, but Sony pissed me off. Yes, Sony, you fuckers. Is that because they allowed Apple to steal a march on them on the old portable music thing? Which was ironic considering Sony at the time owned, what, a quarter of the world's fucking records. Yeah, an actual, the makers of the Walkman and the owners of a quarter of the world's fucking songs got their arse handed to them by Apple, which had nothing to do with music by law, because it couldn't be confused with Apple Core. the Beatles label, and never been into portable music, didn't own any music songs. There wasn't an Apple label. Well, there was, but it was owned by the Beatles. Yeah, wow. And do you know why it was Sony? Do you know why it was? Because she wanted to keep hold of everything. Sony's a bit like that sometimes, It wanted to have its own format. It wanted to win the format wars. It wanted to have control of things. But then again, I mean, bloody Apple was even worse for that. Did anyone see the Byline Times article about Andy Burnham taking all the blue Labour money? I didn't see that. I see you got tickets to Glastonbury, though. To go and talk at Glastonbury? I think if you're going to be performing, so to speak, I think the tickets are free, aren't they? I saw a poster for that Cavan lad. I was going to go at the Amnesty International show, but it clashed with another event. Jenny says, I made Rounders bat on a pole lathe years ago, and lately it's been living in my handbag because of the threat I've been feeling. It nearly got used this morning when a man followed me calling names. I'm sorry, Jenny, that you have to put up with that kind of shit. It's horrible because we overestimate the danger, but the danger's there. It's that thing of like there's 50 cookies and one of them's got poison in it. That'll kill you. You're not gonna have a fucking cookie, are you? Yeah. Graham, that's not physical games for the PlayStation. Says Viper Scott. Oh, well, okay, yeah, because what is it? The Grand Theft Auto 6 is just going to be download only, isn't it? Crime may go down, Graham, but as soon as it rises slightly, the right whinging frothers will shout at everyone, lawless Britain. Yeah, true. I always like it when they get a chart, over time, and it's going like this and down, and then it goes up a little bit, and they sort of focus, they zoom in on that, and they not get rid of all the rest of the graph. But yeah, no more serial killers anymore. You'll be glad to know. No more serial killers. They've gone the way of the dodo. I'm going to get a lot of crap for saying this, but all I'm hearing is boo-hoo-hoo. I can't own a disc, boo-hoo-hoo. Oh, poor you. Now you know how Palestinian feel not owning anything. Hidden Night. Jesus Christ, Hidden Night. That's two very, very... look, no. Sorry. We just because we care about the people of Palestine doesn't mean that we should forgo anything that we enjoy and live in a cave and wear hair shirts, okay? That doesn't help anyone. Like, we live in society, and some people have something that brings them joy. You don't have to say, well, you sound like the dinner ladies when I was a kid in infant school, and they'll say, finish your horrible, disgusting, sloppy rice pudding because there's kids in Ethiopia who've got no food. I'm like, well, it's not going to help them whether I eat this or not. Yeah, I get your point about Palestine and the kids out there having fuck all because of the actions, the illegal actions of the Israeli government and the IDF. But yeah, you don't need to like make people feel bad for enjoying having a CD or wanting to have a CD. Come on, life's too short. Come on. 85% of sales are digital, so it makes sense for them to stop. Not that I agree with it. GTA 6 to publish his decision, nothing to do with Sony. Yes, but Sony used to own Psygnosis, and Psygnosis used to publish Lemmings, which was made by DMA Designs, that became Rockstar. So therefore, actually, it's all Sony's fault. Because if Sony hadn't created Psygnosis, in Liverpool, by the way, then we wouldn't be in this situation. He's not the Messiah. He's the northern representative of the fossil fuel blue Labour pro-Israel community transphobe. Jesus. Eat that food. Kids on the other side of the planet are going hungry. Why don't you give it to them then? Well, yeah, Gallifrey, man. That was usually the response, wasn't it? But yes. Yeah. Hilgar, listen, I need to get back to you. I know you sent me a couple of emails that I need to get back to. I'm really sorry. I was flat out yesterday. I didn't really get a chance to get back to you on that, but I will. Graham, they can also end your games. They stopped you getting your film you downloaded on PlayStation. Damn you, Sony. But can't you just go to that place in Costa Rica that I mentioned yesterday? Doesn't it make it easier to go to that place in Costa Rica? I don't know how PlayStation 5s work. Preaching to disillusion. I have no faith in any politician or party. I'm not saying that. It's just wild to know that disc is getting more leeway now. I mean, we can have digital rights, but I'd rather not complain about a disc when there's bigger issues, etc. Yeah, but Hidden Night, then you fall down the trap of not talking about anything because nothing's as important as a kid in Palestine who's got nothing, who's dying. In reality, I mean, we talk about all kinds of stuff on this channel and in life. I just think it's I don't think you should be making people feel bad about wanting to have something that they enjoy having, a physical disc. If you don't log in for 3 years, they're saying they can delete your account with all your games. That doesn't surprise me, Drainy. It doesn't surprise me. Yeah. That's crazy, isn't it? Sony didn't create Psygnosis. They bought it. Sorry, Martin, how are you? Absolutely right. They did. They did buy Psygnosis. Shadow of the Beast. Sorry for being a lady from the 80s, but it was just how I felt about a disc not being played anymore. We have floppies take over before because no one cared for floppies. Actually, no one cares for a floppy. That's why they invented Viagra. Black ... Going to play Metro all day. The post-apocalyptic nuclear world cheers me up. Yeah, I can see why. Is it raining where you... Please tell me. Give me a weather update from where you are, right? Is it raining where you are? Because it's raining here. Hey, listen. So we've got some other stories that I want to go through. We've got we've had a broadside from Rowan Williams, right? This is the former Archbishop of Canterbury. Rowan Williams. He's accused Nigel Farage of using Christianity to channel anti-Muslim sentiment. Yeah, he also challenged Tommy Robinson's public presentation of himself as Christian. I want the actual the now Archbishop of Canterbury to do this as well. But yeah, I'm glad someone in the Christian community is speaking out about this, because Farage ain't a Christian, you know. Tommy Robinson's not a Christian, you know. He's a criminal. Farage is a criminal. You know, they break the laws of the scripture every fucking day, every day. They don't follow the teaching of Mr. Jesus Christ in any way, shape, or form, or Joshua, or whatever the fuck his name was. And so I'm glad that someone's spoken out about it. Let's have a look what's happening here. Raining on and off where Drainy is. Well, luckily you've got some drains in Drainy World, I think, to get the water out. I saw some footage from Edinburgh, I think it was yesterday, where they had this like mad flash flood. You know the steps they ran down in train spotting at the beginning of train spot. I think it was them, and it was just it was a waterfall just cascading down the steps. No rain for 63 days and counting where Jeff True is. Jesus, raining since 6 a.m. Yes, it has. On and off. We had rain here in East Midlands, and damn. Okay, I walked into that floppy disk joke. It's okay. It's okay, Hidden Night. We're all friends here. It just rained heavily for 5 minutes. Now it's clearing up again. That's not really enough, is it? Manchester now dry, but it's chucking down earlier during night. It blows my mind to think of Manchester going without rain for like 60 days. That's just crazy, isn't it? Climate change, upsetting the natural order of things. I worked with the lead artist of Shadow of the Beast, Garvin Corbett, industry legend. Oh, fantastic. I love Shadow of the Beast. Couldn't get past the first level, but I fucking loved it. Raining in Liverpool, says Martin. Chilly chemical weapons getting everyone's eyes. Small canister of hair spray, legal and effective. We had rain last night in my corner of South Yorks, but annoyingly sunny today. Annoyingly sunny. Gallifrey, man, are you going to go out and shake your fist at the sun? Why yada? Raining in the Pennines. If Farage is Christian, then I'm the bloody Pope, says Christian. Yeah, exactly. Well, like I say, you know, I said, I think it was yesterday or the day before, Jesus doesn't mention being gay, he doesn't mention being trans, he doesn't mention being abortion. He doesn't mention abortions once in the Bible. He does mention adultery 6 times. 6 times. Sorry, I just read Gallifrey Men's message. I already did, Graham. And I shouted at a passing cloud for good measure. What is it? Is it Monty Python and the Holy Grail, where they get the noisy weather sketch, where it's like he's trying to write the story, isn't he? And there's all this banging, and he goes out, and it's like the sun and the cloud, like they're jumping up and down because they've got legs for some reason, and they're making the ground shake. He's like, oh, bloody noisy weather. Sorry, I just had that image in my head. Anyway, I don't think there's ever been a Pope. Christopher. Worry about Todd Morton and Hebden Bridge in this rain. If GTA 6 is going to be super realistic, if you don't work out and you get in the passenger side of the home, it will take you about 3 minutes to shuffle into the driver's seat. I'll say the biggest question is what comes after CDs. If floppy disks were taken over by CDs, what comes after CDs apart from digital? Actually, That's been around since CDs. I don't think they're going to top CDs. I mean, CDs. I mean, you can have DVDs that got music on them, which I can hold way more music. But I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, they're still making CDs. I don't know if they're going to stop doing that because they've started making cassettes again. You know, they've got some retro stuff coming out on cassettes, and people are buying it because it's cool and retro. And records. I mean, we've seen more record sales than ever before. Well, not ever before, but you know, that we've seen so far this century. Because we've got Record Store Day and places like the Jacaranda in Liverpool and record shops, so the you know, like Rough Trade around the country, really pushing these singles, these albums, what they call vinyls. There was a disciple who Jesus loved, which, given the Bible, was written by the ancient Greeks. All it took male lovers can only really be taken one way. Jesus, the Bible character, was bi, says Tim. Yeah, I don't doubt that. And like I keep saying, he hung out with a bunch of sailors and prostitutes. What do you think? What do you think? Bible, as I mentioned, a tonic a woman can be forced to take if her husband feels jealous, which can cause termination. It's been unfaithful, if I remember correctly. Maybe. I'm not sure about that, but yeah, maybe. I thought mini discs came after CDs. They did. Sony's mini discs, which were a bit shit. They're basically little tiny recordable CDs. Better for jogging with than a CD thing. So yeah, mini discs. I had a mini disc player. Martin, that makes me feel slightly better. Oh, that's good. Blu-ray top CDs. Me and my mum had to walk through it to get to Last Train Home. Yeah. Well, I mean, all DVDs were a CD with a better bandwidth for light, so you could fit more info on it, and then all Blu-ray was, or HD DVD was again, it was the same medium, the same function basically. You just fit more info on it. So, do you remember when DVDs first came out? They were double-sided. You had to get up halfway through the movie and flip them over and put them back in. Do you remember that? I do. I'll tell you what's a real rarity though. Star Wars Laserdisc. Star Wars on Laserdisc. Because the original Star Wars trilogy never came out on DVD. It was only the special editions. You couldn't get the originals. So the original non-special editions, the only way you could get them on the digital format at that kind of quality. I mean, it was only $4.80. I mean, it wasn't amazing, but it was all right. It was on these laser discs, which go for a lot of money now, I believe. They did, Chris. I threw a load of mini discs out as they had not to play on them, and then my car as his mini disc slot. Mini discs had the advantage of stored data as well. Oh wait, CDRs and CDRWs also have data. Yeah. They did. Hebden Bridge is prone to flooding. Yeah. Well, we're going to see a lot of floods over the next few days, I think, or the next few weeks across the UK because the ground is compacted with the heat and it just doesn't absorb as much water. I know game studios not partnered with Sony or Microsoft said they still make disc media for games like Infinity Ward and Remedy Studios are saying they'll continue to make physical copies. Yeah. Well, I mean, what I would do if it was look, Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to sell billions, so they don't really care. But like for a more sort of small indie company, I would make the physical discs with some really nice artwork on the box so people could own it and then buy it direct off us. That's what I would do. For second confetti fix, second breakfast Gandalf. I had a schoolmate who insisted that mini disc was the future. I was arguing with him about MP3 being the way forward. Then were the days. Hidden Knight says, I know game studios. Oh, that one. Laserdisc. Pew pew pew. Pew pew pew. There was an anniversary event recently for Train Spotting down in Leith somewhere. Cool. Star Wars Laserdisc. Come on, Graham. They're called lightsabers. Very good. I like that. Anyway, so there's a shocking statistic about nearly 1 million young people outside work and education. This is an estimated 1 million 16 to 24-year-olds not in education, employment, or training, and they think that this number is higher than ever before. It's the second highest NEET rate, the NEET rate in Europe, behind Romania. Former Health Secretary Alan Milburn is conducting a government review into this. His final report is expected later this year. And the proportion of 18 to 24-year-olds with a long-term limiting health condition has risen by 42% in 2019, since 2019, sorry. That's not to say that 42% of kids have got some kind of long-term limiting health condition. It's risen by 42%, right? And prescriptions for antidepressants amongst 20 to 24-year-olds rose almost 1/3 between 2015 and 2021. Why do you think that might be? Why do you think that might be? I mean, it's just, like I keep saying, it's just the cavalcade of fucking misery, isn't it, the news? And also, if young people are being picked on by the old people, which they are, they're like, no, you can't be trans. No, you can't have piercings. No, you can't have tattoos. No, you can't live the life you want to live. No, you can't go out for a drink because it's too expensive. No, you can't buy a house. It's too expensive. No, you can't settle down and have a house because it's too expensive. You know, and I can see why so many people are falling into depression. Absolutely, and we need to do something about this. We need to have positive role models and positive messages going out. All Farage and his lot have is just fucking gloom and doom. Oh, you're gonna get mugged. You're gonna get attacked. You're gonna twats. Anyway, the chief of Travelodge has resigned after criticism of security procedures after a case involving men being given access to women's hotel rooms. So this is cases where women have left their abusive partner and then they've gone into a Travelodge and the abusive partner's turned up and said, can I have the key for that room? And they're like, yeah, here you go. No, stop it. Anyway, so she's resigned. Joanna Boydell, her name is. Also, as we mentioned yesterday, Andy Burnham wants every rough sleeper in England to be offered accommodation by Christmas this year, which is great news. And he was up in the northeast yesterday, meeting our Metro Mayor, Kim McGuinness, and Angela Rayner was up as well. And it was, you know, talking to people who are homeless, people who are sleeping rough, and it's got to end. We're one of the richest countries in the world. There's no reason why anyone should have to live on the streets in this country. No reason at all. And I know you're going to say some people want to live on the streets, Graham, because you know they have mental health problems. Yeah, so help them with their mental health problems. Help them back into society. You know, we did this after the war for people who were shell shocked, so people who, you know, obviously the ones who weren't shot dead for desertion, but you know, a lot of people came back and they have what we now call PTSD. And they were put in, you know, homes to help them if they were posh and rich, I guess. But you know, these places existed to help people back into society. I don't see why we need not them. I don't see why we can't do something similar now. Meanwhile, Oxfam is reviewing its retail and warehouse operation because of falling donations and competition from online second sellers. So, you know, they've got no confirmed plans to close shops or warehouses, but things like Etsy and Vinted is really cutting into Oxfam's profits, basically. And then Russia has killed 12 people early this morning in Kyiv using rockets. The upper floors of a 9-story residential block were destroyed. Approximately 90,000 homes lost electricity. A school, a children's hospital, warehouses, and other buildings were also damaged by the Russians. Great. Trump threatens countries that help Iran. So we mentioned this yesterday. Trump is threatening any country that helps Iran. Any country giving Iran any kind of economic lifeline could face US economic penalties. He promised economic isolation on what he described as an unprecedented scale. Okay. Can we just make very clear that the Americans can't even cause economic isolation to Iran? Never mind anyone else who's like trying to, you know, help Iran. What have we got here? Oh, Saz has got confetti on their brain. Thank you very much, Saz, for the £2 super chat. That's very kind of you. Lord Bird, founder of The Big Issue, interviewed on Channel 4 News, said it was a project that like that faced by Labour after World War II. Yeah, it is. I mean, it's when I talk about something on a war footing, I don't mean that we should all pick up guns and go around shooting each other. I mean, like, we have to have that attitude of a national, everyone joining in, everyone doing their bit. Right, and homelessness, I think everyone needs to do their bit, but also the environment. You know, everyone doing their bit, and it can be something that brings the nation together. Really, bring the nation together of something that we can all have a little hand in. You know, like Jeremy Beadle. Sorry for that terrible joke. R.I.P. Viper Scott, thank you very much for the £2 super chat. Confetti time soon. Yeah. Actually, the Americans are doing pretty well at forcing economic isolation on the US. Well, yeah, Gallifrey, good point. Good point, well made, my friend. Chris says, I was watching the case of the lady who killed her 3 children before attempting to end her life. She's on trial for murder in the US, yet there is clear evidence she was seeking mental health. Yeah. You could argue, though, that anyone who does something horrific like that is, has mental health problems. Because why would you otherwise? Viper Scott, thank you very much for the £2 super chat, which means I'm very free to. Should we use Mike's Bing Graham Feffy face for thing? Should we do that? Okay, let's do it. Thanks very much, Viper Scott. 3, 2, 1. Bing Feffy! When that goes off, it's like it doesn't change. It's still my same face. That's me when I become a robot. When my consciousness is transferred into that of a robot. The pain is too much. Please. Total debt for the US has passed $40 trillion for the first time, says on the cover of the news. Yes, it has. 40. It's doubled in the last 10 years. What happened 10 years ago? Oh yeah, Trump won the election. Interesting. Hormuz is closed still. US has committed $206 million to proposed Gaza force. The Trump administration has notified Congress that it intends to spend more than $200 million for the proposed international stabilization force for Gaza. $200 million is earmarked for equipment, infrastructure, vehicles, and operational costs. Another $6 million will be used to convert US armored vehicles for the force. Congressional notifications were dated the 30th of July, so they've known this for a little while, but it only became public yesterday. It would be the first substantial US funding for the proposed fund. But the plan is stalled, because major conditions have not been accepted by both Israel and Hamas. Putin kills 12 people. If it gets any worse, he'll provide top-up training to security forces on how to push someone out the window correctly. Yeah. Is Trump going to sanction the US for making Iran's oil more profitable? Yeah. Boba Fett, he's not talked to me since I polished Bin Face helmet. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll start the other goal. We've only got half an hour left. Well, I'll start the other goal. Another goal. If we get this one, you can have your Boba Fett, okay? No, Graham, she was clearly saying to medical professionals that she didn't feel safe around her children and she was having disturbing voices. She was constantly prescribed antidepressants. Chris, this is it's a horrific story. It's such a sad story. It's very unusual as well, which is why it's been so covered in the press, because something like this is thankfully incredibly rare. But when it happens, it's really, really horrific. When someone can be the perpetrator and the victim at the same time. Made the situation worse, which indicates a bipolar condition, not depression. Yeah, because she was denied the help she needed. She is now being tried for murder and faces the death penalty. Yeah. It's really grim. And also having the death penalty is really fucking grim as well in the US. And also this woman who's following Trump around at the moment, this Natalie person, she did a thing where she thanked Trump for curing her bone cancer. I saw that clip. What's her name? Natalie Wynn. What's the name of the woman who follows Trump around? Trump Reid. Natalie Harp. That's it. Natalie Harp. Right. Thank you, Trump, for helping cure my cancer. This is Trump has pulled out funding for like dozens of cancer research projects that like halfway through the studies. People are going to die of cancer now who didn't need to because Trump did that. And she's there going, thank you for curing me of my fucking cancer, Trump. Yeah. What a fucking gobshite. Anyway. Morning. Sorry I'm late. Have I missed out? Not really. There's I was just talking about Meghan's coming back. Guess who's back again? Tell her friend. There's been some grim news out of the Central African Republic, the CAR. An artisanal. What the fuck is an artisanal gold? A gold mine has collapsed and it's killed 100 people who were working in the gold mine. And you know, like, this is just typical. It's like the country's informal gold mine sector where mining commonly takes place with limited engineering support, no safety regulation whatsoever. And it's horrible because we're using this gold for our fucking jewelry. You know, white people are wearing this blood gold to, you know, have their bling, whatever. And it's really fucking grim. And if we're going to be buying this stuff from these countries, we need to make sure that the people involved in getting it out the ground are not dying in the process. You know, and actually have the proper safety stuff. But now we want our gold. It's not like fucking gold, fucking worth a fortune, for Christ's sake. You know, the least we could do is say, listen, you need to make sure that if anyone's digging for this, then they have the correct protection. But whatever. And then we've got a story here about the second Nord Stream bombing. Suspect has been arrested. This suspect, identified under German privacy rules as Vladimir Z, was arrested in Croatia, in Pula, in Croatia. And this is a second Ukrainian suspect that's been arrested. And the first suspect was charged in July this year. And this new one denies involvement. And the German prosecutors allege that the operation involved people acting on behalf of Ukrainian state entities. Kyiv says it does not have sufficient information to respond in detail to these allegations. The Nord Stream 1 and 2 pipelines were damaged by underwater explosions near the Danish island of Burnham in September 2022. And, you know, if it was Ukrainian sabotage, okay. All right. We'll remind everyone that Ukraine is reluctantly at war with Russia, the war that Ukraine did not start. Yeah. Damn it. You try and help Graham and Graham Google. You try and help and Graham Googles. Natalie Harp. Yeah, that's the one. The end of the Oak Street film. Pretty good. But why do they always underestimate the effects of guns? I don't know. I don't know. Rain shouting at the cloud worked. Well done, Gallifreyan man. Well done. Cloud busting with Gallifreyan man. Undercover News says Harp is just obsession with Trump. Looks like it might go into Stephen King's misery territory. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. I'm your biggest fan. Also, the nanny from The Omen. Damien Thorne, Donald Trump, same initials, same number of letters in the name, same posh, privileged upbringing, same fact that he's probably the son of the devil and a jackal. You know, and dude, what did Sam Neill do in The Omen Part 3? Ran for president. Ran for president of the United States, because that's what the devil would do. That's what the son of the devil would do. If the devil came back, what do you think the devil would do? Run for president of the United States. And there he is. And you got all these devil worshippers in America thinking that he's great, even though he's a fucking gangster. Anyway, I have got 23 minutes left. So I'm going to join the papers now to point and laugh at them more than anything. So here we go. We've got the Morning Brew papers. We've got Emma Barnett and this horrible story of why she had to have a hysterectomy. It's a very sad story. Very strange, because we were talking about Emma Barnett yesterday. We've got killer hits, the best and worst Bond themes. Ooh, okay, all right, times. All right, you bring it on. Whoa! What just happened? Sorry, didn't mean that. Didn't mean for that to happen. Come on, in the chat, your favourite Bond themes, your least favourite Bond themes. My favourite Bond theme of all time, it's got to be, nobody does it better, Carly Simon. Second best, all-time high. Shit film, View to a Kill, but all-time high. Rita Coolidge, was it, who sung that? Fucking amazing. Number 3, go with Goldfinger. Maybe. I don't know. You tell me. Give me your top Bond films, and you know. But were there any really bum Bond? I suppose that Madonna song was a bit shit, wasn't it? Did she do a song for Die Another Day? That was a bit crap. I'm trying to think. Yeah, Skyfall was good. Adele, that was a good one. Premature Confetti. Well, it happens to the best of us. Adele. At least I can spell her name right. And Barnes, yeah. When was The Omen written? Was it about Trump? I don't know. Tomorrow Never Dies, Man with the Golden Gun and First Light. Not a film, but again, the song slaps. Tomorrow Never Dies. You know, Pulp did a song for that, didn't they? And they had to change it to Tomorrow Never Lies because they tried to do a song for the Bond film, but it didn't get picked. I think did Garbage do a song for a Bond film? Shirley Manson's outfit. They've not made friends. Shirley Manson's outfit, you know, just having a go at the crowd for what was it? Someone had an inflatable fucking mongoose or something. She's like, "How dare you have that?" It was a beach ball. Was it a beach ball? They had a beach ball at a Garbage gig, and she went fucking nuts about it. And now everyone just turns up to Garbage gigs with fucking beach balls just to piss her off. Don't slag off your own fucking people. Nobody does it better. A la Partridge. I saw Radiohead do Nobody Does It Better at the Empress Ballroom in Blackpool on the 7th of September 1997. It's fucking amazing. And they only sung it because I called out for it at the end of the gig. I got the set list afterwards and they were supposed to play The Tourist, but they didn't. They did a cover of Nobody Does It Better. Yes. I changed history for the better. Just like Quantum Leap guy, Sam Beckett. Skyfall is one of the best Bond films. Living Daylights. Yeah, I like Living Daylights. I like Living Daylights by a-ha. That's a great song. In fact, Living Daylights was the first Bond film I ever saw at the cinema. There you go. 1987, wasn't it? Do you know that we have some enemy within? Enemy within? What? Let this guy fall. Let this guy fall. Burnham must not attend the first a terror attack Memorial Day, says Survivor. First terror attack Memorial Day. Which terror attack? I don't know. I'm catching up X2 at the start, so apologies for out of context comments. That's don't forget, it's only recently that until recently the Vols couldn't marry Catholics. Yeah, true story. True story, my friend. True story. Until recently, the national anthem talked about popish tricks, didn't it? They had to change it to knavish tricks. Is that right? Radiohead recorded the theme for Skyfall, but it wasn't used. Oh, wow. There you go. There's some info for you. Was that the Bond of 87? Yeah. Living Daylights was 87, and then 89 was License to Kill, which then got held off for they held off from making another Bond film for 6 years. There does seem to be, right? I know we've got to go through the papers, and I don't really have time to get into this too much, but there is a bizarre parallel between James Bond and Doctor Who. They both started at the same time, in the early 60s, right? They're both characters who were played by different actors through the years, right? And the parallels don't stop there. In 1989, they made a Bond film, and then they stopped making Bond films, right, for a few years. They went on hiatus. And that was the year that Doctor Who stopped. You know, the Sylvester McCoy Doctor Who stopped. And then in the mid-90s, they started again. Well, they had a Bond film and GoldenEye, but they also had a Doctor Who film with thingy McGann in it. What's his name? Paul McGann. Scouse. Second Scouse Doctor Who after Tom Baker. And then there was obviously they made a few Bond films and then they made one Doctor Who film, but they both came back in the mid-noughties about the same time. Do you remember they came back with Casino Royale with Daniel Craig, who's not quite Scouse Bond, he's from Chester, but I'm going to count him Scouse Bond with Scouse Bond, and then Doctor Who came back around the same time, and then they both had a run which ran out recently, and now they're both on hiatus again at the same time. There's a weird parallel between Doctor Who and James Bond, both British creations of one character played by many different people with different ways of playing the same character. You know, this is really interesting. It's one of those things. So maybe, and here's my unpopular opinion. I think maybe James Bond is a Time Lord. Yeah, stuck on Earth without his TARDIS. Paul McGann is my second favourite Doctor after Tennant. Living Daylight soundtrack is banging, all of it, really well done. Yeah, it is cool. It is cool. I really liked that film as well. I thought it was really good. I mean, it's not my favourite Bond film, but it's pretty good. RFK son's Junior's son put on Russia's most wanted list. Would that be RFK Jr.? How can he be RFK Jr. when he's like 90 years old? So at some point you stop being the junior. For me, Sam Smith's Writing on the Wall. It's the worst Bond film. I like Another Way to Die by Jack White and Alicia Keys best. It's interesting. I too come from a mixed background, but I did work RC education in many years. We're not all bad. No, I don't think you are. Never said. Did I say that everyone's bad? No, not everyone. My favorite Doctor is Smith, closely followed by Tennant. I think my favorite Doctor's probably. I mean, I will say Smith because he hung out with my favorite assistant, Amy Pond, who's doing a podcast, by the way, for Doctor Who fans. She's doing a podcast with Rory Arthur thingy, whatever his name is, Arthur Deville, Cruella Deville. They're doing a Doctor Who podcast, which is kind of cool. Or they say they're doing it. I don't know if they're actually doing it. If James Bond is a Time Lord, then RFK Jr. is clearly Davros. Yes, I'll go for that. But yeah, Lewis Capaldi. What's wrong with me? Peter Capaldi is probably my favorite Doctor, just for the episode. Was it Hellbent or Heaven Sent? I don't know. The one where he was stuck in the old castle, and he had to do the same thing over and over again for millions and billions of years, and then he finally escaped. I thought it was brilliant. Best episode of Doctor Who ever, for my money. I want an alt reality Bond film on His Majesty's Secret Service. 2 films. First film, he meets his wife, but she lives, and James gets wounded. Second, she goes on revenge, and there you have your female Bond. Well, I wanted them to do a spin-off episode with Anna de Armas's character from No Time to Die. And they kind of did, because they did Ballerina. Well, not the Bond people, but there was a movie called Ballerina set in the John Wick universe rather than the James Bond universe, where she was this kick-ass assassin who looked like Anna de Armas, which was nice. I met Matt Smith at my mate's house. It was weird just seeing Matt Smith sit across at me, and all we did was try and keep our cool. Brilliant. Gallifrey Wren, now the shopkeeper is clearly a supernatural demon. He appears and disappears at will. His ungodly powers is immortal. We're talking about Mr. Ben. Yeah, couldn't agree more. Right, okay, so back to the papers. Vaccine for skin cancer helps fight off disease. Brilliant fucking news. Again, more news from people who are actually trying to help the world rather than destroy it. Mahmood, wealthy areas must take fair share of asylum seekers, which is fair enough. If, yeah. I'm fed up of NIMBYs. Crackdown on resits to end treadmill of GCSE failure. The Education Secretary has pledged to crack down on the pernicious system of GCSE resits that leaves hundreds of thousands of teenagers locked out of continuing their education each year. Yeah. Okay, I agree with a lot of that stuff. The Daily Mail, we covered this earlier, but ministers forced to tell asylum seekers don't rape women. After dozens of migrants are convicted of sex attacks, Home Office issues booklet warning it's against the law in Britain. It's against the law in all countries, actually, but I mean, a reminder is always welcome. Gossip hits fever pitch over Trump and his devoted human printer. There's Natalie Harp again, weird kind of. I love you, Donny. Look at me, Donny. It's all for you. And why I've been banned from every dating app. And that's not a good thing to brag about, is it, really? Because if a man is banned from a dating app, it's usually because of horrible things that they've done. The iNewspaper here, Zelensky's moment of peril. We've got new skin cancer vaccine can stop disease and offers hope for era of personalized jabs. So what this is it doesn't stop you getting cancer. If you've got skin cancer, they take a sample, a biopsy, whatever, from the cancer. And once they cut it out, they surgically remove it, whatever. They give you a program of medicine that's based on your particular cancer, because everyone's cancer is unique. It's one of the reasons why cancer is so difficult to have its arse kicked. So yeah, On Her Majesty's Secret Service is a lovely story. Love it. Am I the only one who thinks human printer sounds a lot like a horrific misogynistic euphemism? Yeah. She walks around with a printer and she prints things out because he doesn't like reading things on a screen or something. He needs to hold it in big text. Andrew Dorto is great when it works, but it's annoying when it connects to Bluetooth. If I'm not sat in the car listening for a while, the stereo will switch off and save the battery, but it keeps the Bluetooth. Yeah. It's incredibly frustrating. Yeah, just going back to something we were talking about like an hour ago, but I think Lee is a little bit behind the times. He's listening on catch up. The only reason why the Daily Mail is making such a song and dance about it is because of the colour of the offender's skin. Guarantee if they were white, you wouldn't hear a murmur. Well, no, if they were white, it'd be like, why are they telling boys that they shouldn't rape people? This should be obvious. Anyway, Jason Arday's death must be a moment of change for Britain. I couldn't agree more with this story here on the right. And GCSEs 2026, the first choice college placements for students who miss out on the grades. And Emma Barnett's story about feeling blindsided and robbed by her hysterectomy that she had to have. Which is sad, I'm nothing against her in particular. I got something against her fucking family, but, it's not necessarily her fault. But the fact that she exchanged emails with her family talking about her dad's whores. This is a guy who ran illegal brothels in Manchester 20 years ago. And she was obviously, she knew about what was going on. And she won't talk about it. Anyway, makes me a bit uncomfortable. Harry's coming home. Duke and Duchess planned move back to UK for children's school. Reunion with King last month cited as key step in reconciliation. Fantastic news for the people who don't like gammon. The gammons are going to be crying. They're going to be crying their gammon tears into their gammon cups of tea. Into their cups of gammon tea. We've got British COVID scientists plotted to cover up lab leak theory. Cambridge Chancellor, we must uphold academic integrity. Jails run out of space despite early release. Rayner defends work from home in civil service, quite rightly. Match of disarray, BBC show in turmoil. Well, they hounded Gavin Lineker out of a job for having an opinion. How dare he? Heatwave hunt for water. There's a bat in the loo. Okay, cool. Cannibal exclusive. I could kill again. So there you go. Gives his first interview in 50 years. Probably don't let him out. Day trip tragedy. We talked about this yesterday. A father fled Palestine in hope. Now little sister fights for her life. The father who drowned at the beach with his partner and teenage daughter was a refugee who fled Palestine a decade ago. Such a sad story. And why we need to have better safety around our water in the UK. Financial Times here. Has shipping container had its day? What a strange question. I'm gonna guess this is because shipping containers are just being abandoned everywhere. They used to be returned and used again, but they're not now. It's so cheap to make. I don't know what that story's going to be about, but I might read it because, shipping containers. We've got Ashley's sharp eye for fashion bargain. We've got Tehran targets Europe's US bases in sights, and they've got a picture of Donald Trump there being strangled in Tehran. We've got Moderna shares double after success for custom-made skin cancer vaccine, which is just what we're talking about. We've got US Treasury to boost long-term bond purchases in effort to restrain sell-off. There's shit going down with the American economy. 40 trillion. 40 trillion. 40 trillion in debt the Americans are now. Doubled in the last 10 years. And Donald Trump's made an absolute fortune. Didn't Moffat write it? I always said he was a good episode writer, bad showrunner. He needs someone to tell him no, says Gallifreyan. I thought he was a good showrunner. I mean, I really liked the Moffat years. I liked the years with the 11th Doctor. I liked what's the 11th? Yeah, with Matt Smith running around with. I like the way they brought some things together. There was a really nice touch in one of the Moffat episodes where the word that we have for doctor came from the Doctor because it meant someone who helps people. I mean, stuff like that I think Stephen had, buzzing around his head for many years. And don't forget, the best episodes of the Russell T Davies era, when he was the showrunner, were written by Stephen Moffat. Blink was written by Stephen Moffat, wasn't it? And the one with the children where they had the gas masks on saying, "You're not my daddy." That was written by Stephen Moffat, wasn't it? Happy nightmares, kids. But yeah, no, I really liked his time as the showrunner. I think he did really well. I think the Chris Chibnall era was shite. I just didn't really. I don't think he got it, and it really, really annoyed me when they did an episode where they did the Bill and Ted, and they put things in place. They went back and they said, in the future, we'll put this under this seat on the plane. And then, oh, look, I found this thing that I said that in the future, when we survive this, and one of the things I loved about Quantum Leap and Doctor Who is it got around the whole determination loop of you can't go back and kill Hitler, because if you kill Hitler, then you won't go back to kill Hitler because Hitler wouldn't have existed. So in Quantum Leap and in Doctor Who, they're being transported around in time and space, but they're not necessarily controlling where they're going, not going to do something. There's no determinism there. It's completely random, controlled by God or controlled by the TARDIS or whatever. I like that idea, and I think that it undermined it massively. I know this is really nerdy to sort of go, oh, this is my problem with New Who. But yeah, that really got my goat that they did the Bill and Ted. Let's put the bucket above the door after we survive this, and then we'll go back in time and put the bucket above the door. Was Blink Those Angels? Yeah, the Weeping Angels. The Weeping Angel. Well, this brightened my day. Victoria Shopping Centre in Nottingham is bringing back a town's favourite, the Emmet Clock. Ooh, excellent. Honestly, whoever wrote Space Babies needs to go to a landfill. Well, Mark Gatiss wrote the fucking robot. What was it called? Robot of Sherwood or something. The robot doctor. The robot Robin Hood. Fucking shite. Absolutely. Who let Mark Gatiss write that one? We're in the era of anti-woke. And we say about Moffat, right? He did stick the landing sometimes. I don't think he always stuck the landing with Doctor Who. But the culmination of the River Song story, I thought was brilliant. That was absolutely brilliant. And just the kiss off line at the end, where they're like, we're only gonna have one night together, says the Doctor to his wife, and she says, oh, it's okay because the nights here last for 17 years. Okay, cool. It was great. It was River Song who said, Doctor, the word for healer and wise man throughout the universe. We've got that word for you, in When a Good Man Goes to War. There you go. Chris C's on it. Like I said, good writer, but showrunner. He let his enthusiasm run away with him. He needed someone to check his work and rein in excesses, dinosaurs in space, for example. Or but were those episodes written by him? That sort of thing, like Robot of Sherlock. Robot of Sherlock. Oh my God, Robot of Sherwood wasn't written by him, was it? Anyway, listen, I'm gonna have to wrap up very, very soon. So I'm gonna sack off this goal. Oh God, no. I don't want to send a super chat to myself. Don't do that. I'm just going to goal. Let's just, don't fucking. Sorry, everyone. I'm not with it this morning. Since I got back, I've been really ill. I've been tired all the time, and I've not been using the bathroom in the way that it should be used. So yeah. Sorry, TMI. I know, but it was one of the reasons why I was late yesterday. I was just like, I can't start now. Let me remove the goal. Oh my God! Stop trying to send the super chat. Why won't it let me remove the goal? Remove goal. There you go. Remove. Yes. Okay. Right. Okay. So we're going to start another goal. It's going to be one super chat. There you go. Right. If you get one super chat in the next 3 minutes, right, I will launch the confetti cannon, blast it straight into your face, and it'll be Boba Fetty. Okay. So just one more. Financial Times. Back to the Financial Times. We've got household robot maker leaps on Shanghai listing. We've got price. Raid risers gather speed. We've got probe into drip pricing. Ooh. We've got limit lift for Revolut chief. We've got Zelensky's graft woes worsens. Roaming revenues at risk. Gaza soldiers face probe. EQT takes punt on rugby. We've got down here, we've got the US Treasury to boost long-term bond purchases in an effort to restrain sell-off. So I've already said that one. And Starmer lacked vision. Ex-chief of staff Gray says, yeah, I agree with that. There's one criticism I really do have of Keir Starmer is he just couldn't get people on board. And when people went up to him and said, I've got an idea, he'll just go, no, it won't work because of this, that, and that. And I think his negativity was what did him in the end. Don't rape or beat up women when in Britain, says the Express. Or anywhere. Let's just say anywhere. All right. It's a good message to send out to men, just men in general. We've got working in Starmer's number 10 was unbearable, says ex-chief of staff. This is the interview with Sue Gray. We've got IDF admits firing at car in which family died. This is the little girl who died in Gaza in 2024 after a 3-hour wait to be rescued. Oh, God, so sad. Mandatory GCSE resets can harm well-being. Yeah, I can understand why that might be the case, but you know, our education system was the modern education system that we work under at the moment was built by Michael Gove and Dominic Cummings, two private school twats who didn't need to pass exams because they had connections from school, so they'll do well in life. They didn't need to go to university, they didn't need to get a degree, they didn't need to get a master's or a PhD or anything. They didn't have to study or do anything. They're the type of people who pay someone else to do their essays for them because they can afford to do that. How many people did that? I know people who used to do that at Manchester University. They used to write essays for the students in other, well, not necessarily Manchester, but in other universities. They'll write essays for money, £100. I'll write your essay for you, £100 to the rich. There you go. But yeah, the education system, the complete myopic focus onto. Does that work? Is that an oxymoron? Myopic focus? I don't know. But that obsession with exams comes from Cummings and Gove when they were running the education department of the government. The biggest joke stroke pun from Doctor Who show was the Doctor's name. Every time they say we will know his name, and then it just ends up being another nickname they gave him. Lol. My favorite joke from the Doctor Who era was when they did a special where David Tennant. It was called Time Crash. Was it? David Tennant ran into number 5. Colin Baker. Oh shit! What's his name? Damn it! Who was the 5th Doctor Who? Come on, quick! Someone help me out here. After Tom. Who was after Tom? He had the celery. He was dressed up in cricketing whites and he had the celery in his pocket. The fuck is his name? Why can't I remember the name of the 5th Doctor Who? I don't know, whatever his fucking name is. They have a little discussion. He says, "Is the Master still hanging around?" And David Tennant says, "Yeah." He says, "Has he still got the beard?" And he goes, "Well, he's got a wife." Children need Davidson. That's the one. Davidson. What the fuck? Who's Peter Davidson? Thank you. Put me out my misery there, Alexa. Thank you so much. Love and hugs going out to you. Right, we didn't get another super chat, so you're not going to get your Boba Fetty. You have to wait till next time. GCSE results today, obviously. So I'm going to be spending the rest of the day hanging out with my stepdaughter. So I'm going to go and do that now. I was going to go John Pertwee. Signed L. 5th Doctor Peter Davidson. You know, my chat buddies know. The socialites know. It's like the Oracle. Socialites. The wisdom of, forget the wisdom of crowds. It's the wisdom of the socialites. All the information of the world at our fingertips. Have you seen the voice activated lift sketch now? His daughter in the Daughter's Doctor episode, so they could have had a good spin off there, and I forgot to. Yes, that's right. Peter Davidson's daughter is Thingy Moffat, who didn't she marry? I don't know, whatever. I liked it when Matt Smith became the Doctor and complained he was still not ginger. Yeah, one day I'll get to play the Doctor. Okay, until that day, thanks very much for watching, and until next time, hello. Oh, give us a like before you go. Don't forget to give us a like. And until next time, I'll say thank you very much for watching. Hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.